Oh, ladies and gentlemen, here we are once again in the car, and I have a little turkey with me this time because we are, a week away, a little more than a week away from Thanksgiving, and I am all dressed up, wearing my Sunday best. I don't normally... Welcome to Pickup Lines, by the way, presented by Gamez Law Firm, and you know Gamez Law fights. I don't normally dress up this nicely for Pickup Lines. However, I just came from a luncheon. I spoke to the American Marketing Association San Antonio chapter and had a fantastic conversation with all of them, and they were so nice to me, and and we talked about Pickup Lines and kind of how this show came to be, and content creation and marketing and branding and my latest chapter, if you will. So, but part of what I told the group is how much I love the show and the ability to have these long conversations with people that you've seen on the news before, that I've interviewed before, but 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes at a time. And that includes our guest for today. As we get ready for Thanksgiving, let me bring in the one and only Patricia Jimenez, because 1 week from tomorrow... Hi, Patricia.
Hi, how are you?
No one in San Antonio will have as big a Thanksgiving feast as you will. I would venture to say, is it the largest in the country?
At this point, yes, because it's the largest in the country all in one place.
In this place, the convention center?
Yes, for all 44 years.
44 years.
That's where it started, yes.
And so your late father had got this all started once upon a time, and I know he was a businessman and a restaurateur.
Yes.
And as I think the story goes, he saw a need, or he realized there were just too many people in San Antonio. I don't know what year it was, but and he's like, something needed to be done.
Yes, actually he was very close to his grandmother, and he saw that there were a lot of seniors who were alone and didn't have a place to go, and also didn't have the resources, and said nobody should be alone on Thanksgiving.
I love it.
And so he told my mom, I want to do something special for a few people. But my dad always did everything really big.
A few people. Oh, boy.
But anybody who knew my dad knew everything that he said was a few was really a lot. And
it's a relative term.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. And so she said, well, how many people are you thinking, so we can get ready and we can prepare, thinking it was going to be at our house. And he said, oh, I'm thinking about maybe 100. And she said, 100? And that's when he engaged members of the community, the city officials, to say, I want to make this happen. And that's how it all started in 1979.
1979. And as I understand it, the city has been sponsoring this, or helping to sponsor it every year.
Every single year. Every single year. And it started out as something that my dad wanted to do, but it's now actually a San Antonio tradition and what San Antonio is known for.
Right. No, well, I'm happy to say I am planning next week, next Thursday, all those years that I was doing the morning news, I could never be there at the event because I always worked Thanksgiving Day. So I would see the live shots, the reporters that were there and everything. But I'm on the Raphael Court this year for 2024, and we are planning to be down there. So I'm expecting that this will be the first time I've ever been to this event in person, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, awesome. We can't wait to see you and the court and Raphael.
How would you describe that scene? Because, again, a lot of people have seen it on TV. It's Thanksgiving morning. People are busy in their kitchens doing their own thing in a lot of cases. But for people who've never been to the dinner at the convention center, how do you describe what the scene is like?
It's amazing. It's a community table. You have thousands of people coming together. Some are there to volunteer. Some are there as dinner guests. But everyone is there in harmony, very grateful. And it's a time to give thanks. And whether you're there to receive or you're there to help give, everybody is rewarded in some way.
It really is remarkable. I've heard from people who have been there and just can't speak enough good things about it. So at what year did you officially take it on? Because you're the executive director, and you wear several hats, but what year did you take it on?
Well, my father passed away in 1998, and that's when I stepped in. And I have to say we are very grateful as a family, because at that time people were wondering, well, what is going to happen? And I thank all those people that were there who had been supporting my dad for 19 years at the time and said, you know what, we want to continue to support So that means a lot. Some of those folks are still helping us today.
At that time, though, was there ever a discussion that maybe it was time to just stop it and that it would be too much for you to take on moving forward?
Well, I can tell you this much. My dad never put pressure on us at all to say, you must continue it. My dad wasn't that type of person, but, you know, there was a question, but I felt it was more like whether the community would have enough faith in wanting to continue it. It never crossed my mind because I said to myself, me and my family, we said to ourselves, the least we can do is do our part, because the community has been there for 19 years, supporting my dad and his legacy. And of course, it has to come natural. Obviously, if it hadn't been something that resonated with me, I probably would have found a way to say, I think it's time for me to move on. But since we were very young, we've always been exposed to this event. This is the only Thanksgiving dinner I know.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, too, and we're talking with Patricia Jimenez, the executive director of the Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving Dinner, which is coming up, of course, Thanksgiving morning here in San Antonio at the Convention Center. Do you ever think when Thanksgiving comes around, like, what it would be like just to have a more traditional, if you will, like you're at your house cooking for your family, as opposed to being at the Convention Center cooking for 25,000 people?
Everybody that knows me knows I'm not a great cook at all.
What? Wait a minute.
It's more stressful for me to think about that. But honestly, I can't say that I miss it. I'm missing out on anything. I'm where I want to be and love to be. And I even tell people that my dad was a food manufacturer and he made tamales. So even on December 24th, while everybody was relaxing and we were at the factory, and he was selling tamales until like 8 o'clock at night. So our lifestyle has always been very busy. Yeah.
Well, listen, it doesn't get much more busy for you right now. I mean, I'm blessed that you had time to do this with me today, because I know any minute now you're going to be living basically at the convention center, right?
Yes, we start in the kitchen on Sunday. That's when the turkeys are being delivered. Okay. And if I may say so, we're so grateful because we have a special sponsor, Kim's Angels, that's going to be donating all of the turkeys. So we thank you.
Kim Rapier, I know that, and Glenn and Yolanda Valenzuela.
Yes, all of them.
God bless them.
God bless you.
How many people have they helped out over the years? That's fantastic. Because I was wondering, I mean, I'm always fascinated by the numbers. Like how many turkeys, how many pounds of stuffing, how many pies. Like, do you know all that off the top of your head?
Yes, it's about... In this case, it's about 550 turkeys, but it translates into 9,000 pounds of turkey, over 6,000 pounds of yams and green beans, thousands of pounds of, stuffing, and of course, 3,000 pumpkin pies.
Oh my gosh.
So yes.
I can almost taste it. I can almost taste it. Talk about volunteer-wise. Are you in a good place right now for volunteers?
Yes. Thank you to all those people that have signed up. It only took us like 24 hours to get close to 4,000 volunteers.
That's insane that you 4,000 volunteers.
Yes, and people think we start in the kitchen the day before, but in actuality, we're there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then of course Thursday.
I remember just being on the news. I remember the video. You always see it. It's everybody deboning the turkeys in the kitchen, or the pies are on the cart, and you're pushing the pies around and everything. I mean, it takes a small army to pull this off every year. And I wonder what it was like when the pandemic happened. Refresh my memory, because did the dinner had to go away for a year, didn't it?
Well, we thought to ourselves, if we can do something, we'd like to try and do at least what the guidelines will allow. So in 2020 and 2021, we did a delivery only. It wasn't 25,000, but I think we did the best that we could under the circumstances. So the first year it was about 9,000 meals that were delivered. The second year was 12,500. And a big shout out to the city of San Antonio, because they were completely shut down and they allowed us to go into the convention center, and some of their staff agreed to be there to open the facility and allow us to be there. And it was incredible.
It really is. And Richard Delgado, a buddy of mine, he's looking forward to assist serving our community, and there's going to be so many people there. What I love about this too is when you walk into the convention center, it's not like a bare, plain, empty convention center. It is decorated, and I know you brought some of these examples today.
Oh, yes.
It is decorated by so many of these amazing little art pieces that I'm guessing are put together by local students, right?
Yes, elementary school kids. In this particular case, these are all made by school kids from NEISD, but we also have support from Northside ISD, San Antonio ISD, and the girls and the Girl Scouts of South Texas. So this is amazing because it shows kids to give thanks.
Right.
And it talks about, doing something nice for those that are less fortunate.
So this is a place, I mean, they make these placemats.
Yes.
And these little table decorations.
Yes. And some people, who may not have a whole lot, for them, that's a souvenir. And they really take that home with them.
To decorate their houses. And I just love the personal touches. And you see all these turkeys. So it's just so cool that, and I'm just, pardon my reach here, but I love all of the detail and everything.
Yes,
you can see they put a lot of work into this stuff.
Yes, they do, and they write little messages. And those kids, and people ask us every year, well, how are you able to do this for so long? Well, these kids one day are going to be adults, and they're going to remember us and say, I want to go volunteer, or maybe they work for a corporation, I want to sponsor. And so that's how we've been able to continue for generation to generation.
I wonder how many families use your dinner as part of their own family tradition, where they say, we're going to eat, we're going to watch the Cowboys game, but first we're going to go downtown and we're going to spend some time at the convention center.
Yes, and I mean it with all sincerity. There's a woman who's now a grandma. Her name is Sandy. And she not only brought her daughter, her granddaughter. So that's like 3 generations.
Right.
And so now that she's getting older, she's like, well, maybe I should be the one to take a break and stay back. And they're like, no, we must go. We must go.
Oh, yeah.
So there are a lot of families who have made it their tradition.
I love it. And again, my family, we're planning to be down there, the 5 of us, on next Thursday, and we're looking forward to it. So give me a sense. I know you said Sunday is when the turkeys arrive and you start the prep. Thanksgiving Day, a week from tomorrow, what will that day from start to finish look like for you?
Well, we have to wake up early, obviously, and be at the kitchen I'm fortunate enough that I'm not one of the main chefs, so I don't have to handle the cooking part. But I will be there to do interviews, and then of course our committee is all going to be there.
Yeah.
And we all have to make sure that we're prepping, whether it's homebound, volunteer registration, making sure the serving lines are done right. Every little thing. In other words, making sure that our golf carts are fully charged.
Little things like that the average family never has to think about. I mean, you please tell me you take time to eat and
Yes, we do. We have a separate area where our volunteers eat and get to relax, and we also take time. We take turns. We can't all eat at the same time, but we definitely do. And
you have a non-denominational or like a spiritual service or something?
Yes. Oh, it's a worship service.
Worship service.
It starts at 10. It's about 30 minutes, and we just give thanks, and there's a blessing involved.
Right.
And then we start serving from 10:30 to 3:30.
And then, wow, that's crazy. How often do you hear from groups in other cities or other organizations that may be out of town that see what you're doing and would like to do something like that and have reached out to you for guidance or advice?
I have seen people come because they wanted to witness it for themselves and volunteer. I have not seen anybody say, hey, we want to do this. And I think San Antonio is a special place because one guy said, I just moved here from Denver. Oops, I'm not trying to call anyone out. He said, we could have never pulled this off. So I think it's just a testament to San Antonio and the wonderful people. But in my opinion, if anybody would like to start something like this, we would love to help give them some feedback and guidance, because I think this is something where it brings people together and everybody is included, so it's important.
I mean, I know this might sound selfish, but I do kind of like the cool, I think it's cool that it's kind of unique to San Antonio, and that
It is.
we own this. Like,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, absolutely. It is a San Antonio tradition.
Right.
And we've even had senators that have told us that other senators from other places are asking about it and saying,
Yeah.
that's incredible what y'all do in San Antonio.
Because correct, I mean, how much of everything? I mean, is all of it donated? I mean, do you have any expenses or anything that you have to budget for?
Well, we do have to, like, not everything gets donated physically. We
Mm-hmm.
do have to pay for certain things. And then we have some small
Just little things.
administrative costs, but the majority of the cost goes directly towards funding the dinner.
Well, I was at KTSA not too long ago when you guys had the radiothon there, and that's amazing what they do.
Oh, yes.
I know you raised a good chunk of money that day as well, but I mean, this is, I don't know, is it a year-round thing for you?
Yes, you have to start planning. Like, there are situations now where people are budgeting in October, or this past October they
Right.
started budgeting for the coming year. So you have to be simultaneously working on logistics and fundraising.
Right.
And you kind of have to be a walking billboard. Like, everywhere you go, you meet people and you start asking about, you know, do you happen to have the contact person for who might be interested in participating and donating. So you always have to be
A full-time job.
Yes.
I see. We have a few more minutes with Patricia Jimenez here. If you have any questions, by the way, or stories, experiences,
Yes.
I'm doing my best to read them on here. So many of you may have had a chance to go be there again. I'm planning to go for the first time myself here next week. What about like the way your family is set up right now? Years from now, or whenever you decide, you know what, I'm going to pass it on. Is it? You got somebody in mind for that already?
Oh, yes, of course. Actually, my brother's kids, may he rest in peace,
Uh-huh.
my niece Jessica, Raul III, which I know you know,
Yes.
and Arturo, they already participate.
Right.
And so they have children. All of them have kids. So my goal is that one day, you know, they will definitely be in a leadership position to where they can pass it along to their kids. Yes, because I would love for this to continue way past our family tree.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Oh,
and
no.
I can't imagine Thanksgiving in San Antonio without it. Like,
Yes.
it just seems, I mean, well, when the pandemic happened, I mean, even though you did the deliveries, it's still, people would say, are they having the dinner still? Like, that's when you knew the pandemic
Yes.
was serious, when stuff like that couldn't happen the way it normally does.
Oh, yes, definitely. And we said to ourselves, if people can still be allowed to go to the McDonald's and pick up food, we have to figure out a way to do
Yeah.
something.
The pivot. And,
Yeah. Well, and also it was amazing because we even had volunteers who said, are you still going to do something? Because we still want to help.
Yeah.
And that amazed me because, you know, it was a scary time.
Right. We have a little friend in the back seat
Oh,
here,
yes.
and you were telling me about this turkey.
Yes, we have all kinds of wonderful volunteers. They're like family to us.
Right.
And sometimes they show us appreciation. And this was gifted to us by one of our volunteers. And we haven't named it yet. Shame on us.
Wait a minute.
Maybe y'all could help us.
Oh, I love it. So
We need ideas.
we have the Raul Jimenez. Do you have a mascot, or like maybe could this be your mascot?
I think, yes, our portable mascot. But
Yeah.
we'd love to have a full-fledged mascot.
So we need to come up with a name. All right. So we'll put our viewers to work here, and if you think of something, either now or later,
Yes.
let us know.
Please.
What do you think your dad would think about all of this now?
He would absolutely love it because my dad was always about doing everything bigger and better.
Uh-huh.
And he was very generous. And I think he would be honored and, so grateful. But I feel like when he passed, the dinner was maybe at 15 or 16,000.
Really?
So it's grown quite a bit. And I know he would just be grateful and excited because, it's not just about making it bigger. It's about that we're helping more people and more people are being blessed.
You brought up a point before we came on the air, which is important because the transportation to the dinner next Thursday is covered as well.
Yes. If anyone wants to come, they just get on the appropriate bus and they can go to and from the event completely free. That includes transfers, and that also includes special via transportation
Okay.
for people that need like for example, for their scooters. I guess that's what you call them, scooters.
Sure, yeah.
And they have special services so that they can get you onto the bus and transport you safely. So
let me check it. We have a comment, and I'm going to check real quick. Somebody's asking, do you have your own personal Thanksgiving time with your family, or do you basically devote the whole day to the dinner?
No,
do you do your own separate Thanksgiving with the Jimenezes?
No, I don't.
Okay.
That's it for me. And after being in the kitchen from Sunday through Thursday, seeing all the turkey, I literally have gone to Whataburger after the event to pick up food like burgers because I was ready. But it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate what we have.
Right.
It's just
no more turkey.
Yeah, one meal and that's it.
I'm just picturing you pulling up to a Whataburger. Like, Patricia Jimenez? What is she doing here?
Yes, and I'm grateful that some places are open because...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes.
Right now, so where are we? 8 days out. Do you have any immediate needs right now? If people wanted to help or they wanted to just do something, are you good, or do you have any immediate needs?
Well, right now, we do have... Up until Friday, we're taking reservations for homebound meal delivery. So if you know somebody, like maybe a neighbor who doesn't have anyone or maybe isn't mobile, they can call the United Way at 211. They select option 1, and they should be able to speak to someone to get a meal reserved and delivered on Thanksgiving Day.
It's interesting. I was just talking with Meals on Wheels yesterday, and they were talking about how... Or we were talking about just that it's a reminder to check on your elderly neighbors or people sometimes who might be widows or living by themselves and can be forgotten sometimes.
And it's not always easy to detect because most people aren't going to tell you that they feel lonely or that they're struggling. So you kind of have to, find a way to make it seem like, oh, this is a lot of food for me, or I want to share this with you because it's too much and I don't want it to go to waste. Little things that won't make them feel like you're feeling sorry for them. People I feel like people aren't going to say, yes,
they have pride. There's pride, and I totally get that. Asking for help sometimes is difficult for a lot of people, for sure. Do you ever have instances after the dinner's over, 3:30 or whatever, do you have food left over?
Yes, that's a very good question. None of our food goes to waste.
I didn't think so.
Because Daily Bread Ministries will pick up anything. They have certain clients and ministries that they work with, and they come and pick up the meal, like whatever's left over that day as we shut down. And so people are continuing to receive that blessing throughout the weekend and several days after.
Yeah.
And so they come on Thanksgiving Day and they pick up even the food that has been already prepped. So everything is utilized. And that's what I love, because when you're preparing enough meals for 25,000, you can't just be one plate short of feeding people. So you do have to have an extra reserve because you can't run out of food. That's not an option.
Yeah, no. Well, I figured you had a plan for it. I was just trying to figure out what happens to that.
Yes. No, but that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Because, we have donors and we want to make sure that they know that we're being responsible and that everything is going to good use.
For sure. Okay. Well, we're winding down here with Patricia Jimenez. I'm so grateful for your time because I know like this is your Super Bowl week is coming up.
Yes.
Like this is it. And I mean, before you know it, this is what, 44th year?
Yes, next year will be our 45th.
And I something tells me it's just going to get bigger, and then you're going to get to 50, and it's just going to be bigger and bigger.
Well, I feel like, and I don't want to sound, morbid, but I feel like there's a great need.
Yeah,
there's a lot of food insecurity, and so I'm glad that, San Antonio is there to help make this all happen, because we have a lot of people who are very grateful. We've received calls and emails from folks.
Oh, I can only imagine. Somebody's saying here, I got to meet, they're asking about the musical lineup. I got to meet Ram Herrera one year. And that's the other thing. You have entertainment there, too.
Yes, music and dancing. We have Esencia Musical. They are a local band, but they play marvelous people are on the dance floor constantly with their music. And then after that, for a couple of hours, we're going to have a DJ. So that way we can meet the needs of different folks.
A little variety.
Yes.
For everybody. This is great. This is
Thank you.
Well, I'm just thrilled for you because I've seen kind of behind the scenes. I know it's a lot of work, and I just want people to understand like how much effort it takes to pull something like this off year after year after year.
Well, what I can say is that as a family, we're grateful and we're happy to work alongside the community, because all of our sponsors, the media, all of our volunteers, you know, we couldn't do it without them.
Because I know you're going to be on camera a lot that day too. So you got to, in addition to everything else, you got to do 50 interviews or whatever. You got to do all that stuff.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, you're a very popular person.
Oh, thank you.
I guess the last thing I was going to ask you is how have you been able to deal with, I mean, everybody's paying more for food these days. The rising cost of food. How much of an issue was that trying to prepare for this year?
For a little while, we needed a little help with the finish line, or to get to the finish line. And we did get some donations that came unexpected, unsolicited, from people that heard about it. Sometimes I can't always give the information out, but we have been blessed to make it. It's not, we're not at a point where we have a surplus, but everything, we're going to be okay, and everything's going to be great on Thanksgiving.
Things have a way of just working themselves out, especially in San Antonio. People are so giving and everything, and you really embody that. I mean, this is, again, I can't imagine a Thanksgiving in San Antonio without this event, as much work as it is for you and your family and your army of volunteers. I really am looking forward to being there next Thursday.
Yes, we look forward to having you. It's going to be great.
Love it. Okay, so again, we need a name for the turkey back here. So if you have any great ideas, send them my way, and I'll pass them along to Patricia. And again, I just love all of this, but please continue. Give my best to the family, and thank you so much for being with me here today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. It's an honor. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. So the doors open at what time?
They open at 9, and we start at 10 to 3.
Next Thursday, we will be there and hope to see you there as well if you can be there.
Absolutely.
So great to see you. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Blessings to you and your family. There you have it. Another episode of Pickup Lines presented by Gamez Law Firm. We'll have another one before Thanksgiving next week, but please go online to find out more if you'd like to help out with the Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving Dinner. And until next time, have a great day. Bye for now.